Okay, let's take a look at our second option, Task 2 Outline B. In this part of the lesson, I'm going to talk about discussion and stance and how important those are for some essay types. We'll look at Outline B, and then I'll give you examples that you can use for advantages, disadvantages, discussion, and opinion. Okay, now as we turn to these three other essay types, advantages, discussion, and opinion, it's very, very important to realize that these essays require a more specific essay structure to score a 7+ for task achievement. Those three essay types, advantages, disadvantages, discussion, and opinion, they must include two elements to score highly: discussion and stance. First, discussion. Each of these essays must contain discussion of both sides of the issue. If you do not mention both sides of the issue, the maximum task achievement score you can receive is a 6. So don't just focus on one side. Even if you agree with that side, you need to mention both sides in your essay. So the outline that I will show you, make sure that you include both sides. Very important. So let's look at this first example here. What are the disadvantages of knocking down old buildings, and do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So it's clear what the two sides are here, right? We have disadvantages on one side and advantages on the other. So both of those need to be mentioned in your essay. The second topic is a discussion topic. Some people think that art is an essential subject for children at school, while others think it is a waste of time. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. Okay, again, the two sides are clear, right? One side, art is essential. The other side, art is a waste of time. So make sure that both of those sides are mentioned in your essay. And the third example, marketing and promotion is the key to a successful business. To what extent do you agree? Now the two sides here are agree and disagree. Marketing and promotion is the key, or marketing and promotion is not the key. You have to make sure that both of those opinions are shown in your essay. Next, let's talk about stance. This is the second element that must be present in these essays. Each of these essays must show your stance, or your opinion, your view on the issue throughout the essay. Throughout the essay. Very important there. I want to mention that again. Through the whole essay, the reader should basically know what you're trying to say in the essay, what your opinion is. If your stance is not clear throughout, the maximum task achievement score that you can receive is a 6. Some of the two biggest mistakes people make: they either don't discuss both sides, or they don't make their opinion clear throughout. So let's look at those same examples. In many cities, old buildings are demolished and replaced with new buildings. What are the disadvantages of knocking down old buildings? Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? This prompt is asking for your opinion. Advantages, disadvantages? But what is your opinion? Which side is stronger? The second example, again, art is essential or art is a waste of time. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. And then the final example, the opinion example, marketing and promotion is the key to a successful business. To what extent do you agree? So for these three types, advantages, disadvantages, discussion, and opinion, it's really the same question. They're not really three different types. They look different, but our approach is the same, because our approach needs to contain discussion and stance. So let's look at one approach that we can use for these types of essays, these three essay types. Okay, so Task 2 Outline B is an outline that you can use to ensure that you include both discussion and stance. And it's very simple. You start with an introduction. Of course, you finish with a conclusion, but look at the body paragraphs. Body A should be the opposite side. whatever side is the opposite of your opinion. Body B, you introduce your side. You always want to finish with your side. Okay, so introduce the opposite side, and you can introduce it in a kind of weak way, as you will see in the example. Okay, introduce it like, some people think that da 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 da. Okay, and then when you get to body B, make it very clear that this is your idea. Okay, so you can start body B by saying, however, I strongly believe that da da da. Or however, it is clear to me that, and then whatever your opinion is. Okay, so by doing this, we have discussion. We talk about both sides, but through our language, we make it clear which side we agree with. Okay, by introducing the opposite side in a weak way, and by introducing body B, our side, in a very strong way. We'll talk about this in lesson 3, our introduction is going to make it very clear what our opinion is. So we make it clear in the introduction, we use the right language and the right organization in the body, and then we re-mention it in the conclusion. All of that makes sure that our stance is clear, and by giving one body paragraph to the opposite side, we make sure that we have enough discussion to get a high task achievement score. So let's look at how to use this outline B with an advantages and disadvantages example. So here we have that same example that we saw before, the disadvantages of knocking down old buildings, and do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So first of all, you need to decide what your stance is going to be. What is your opinion? In this case, I'll say yes. I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So, just like in the outline A, we have an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Now in body A, we introduce the disadvantages. That's the opposite side. And we're going to introduce this kind of weakly, right, in a weak way. So some people might say that there are disadvantages, and then explain what those are. Explain the opposite side in a way that makes it clear this is not your opinion. Then in body B, nice and strongly explain the advantages. So start the paragraph with something like, however, I believe the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, and then explain why. That way you have discussion because you're talking about both sides of the issue, but your stance, your opinion, is clear throughout the essay. We can do the same thing with a discussion essay. So some people think that art is an essential subject, while others think it is a waste of time. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. Well, first decide what your opinion is. So I'll say art is essential. Okay, so in body A, we introduce the opposite side. Some people say art is a waste of time. And again, introduce this in a weak way, so the reader knows that this is not really your opinion. Then start body B nice and strong. However, I believe that art is essential for children at school. And then explain why. So again, we have a nice strong stance that's clear throughout the essay, but we're discussing both sides of the issue. That will make sure we get a high task achievement score. And finally, let's look at this opinion essay. And we follow the same process. Some people think that famous people in the media have no right to privacy. To what extent do you agree? Well, my answer will be mostly agree. I agree to some extent. I mostly agree with this opinion. Okay, so in body A, introduce the opposite side. Some people disagree. And then body B, however, I agree. Okay, so in all 3 of these types, advantages, disadvantages, discussion, and opinion, we really have the same idea. The same outline is used for all 3 of these to make sure we have discussion and we have stance and opinion throughout the essay.